Season 2, episode 30, here with my favorite content creators. And Lil JR is amazing with the football runs. He's such a good guy too, that we were talking before the pod started. You gave bad luck to Sporting, my guy. Because we went to see the Sporting Arsenal match. Oh my days. But yes, JR, how are you feeling? And thank you for being the guest in episode 30, mate.
Well, of course, it's an honor to be here. Of course, it's time to go bold. I'm happy to be here. It's time to let's go. But I'm feeling good.
Oh, good stuff, mate. That trip to South Korea. Look, you always flex, mate. You're in fashion, mate. You're one of the guys that I fully see, mate. You're always impeccable style. So yes, follow JR on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. That's why he was in the TikTok Awards as one of the best, because yes, he's actually one of the best and a great person too. So I can't wait to see you when you come back here to Portugal, JR.
Thank you, man.
And hopefully you'll see a much better Sporting next season, because I think that will be the case. But in this episode, we're going to talk a lot about Arsenal, Tottenham winning the Europa League after 17 years without winning a trophy. We'll also must talk about Rúben Amorim, because there's a lot of this disrespect going around and a bit of a UCL predictions. But let us know down below what would be topics that you'd like to see in future podcasts. Go bold and like this video for more FC Wonderkid podcasts in future. So, JR, as an Arsenal fan, how are you feeling? Because another season, no trophies. How are you feeling as an Arsenal fan, JR?
The thing is, it might feel a bit like, obviously, digression. It might feel like we're not going anywhere. In ways, we have and we haven't. Because I feel like, obviously, with Champions League, we got to the semi-finals. That's a decent, that's decent progression. Things in the league, we could have done better. I mean, it didn't go down to the final wire like it did last year or the season before. But that happened. And I felt like when we put more focus in the Champions League, which unfortunately we didn't get to the final of, it happens, is what it is. PSG are one of the best teams in Europe right now. I feel like, and with a lot of injuries, which some people do like to say is not really an excuse, but I feel like in ways, the injuries, the key players that we got injuries to, Gabriel being a big miss, missing a lot, Saka, Odegaard not being the same after injury
That's
too.
True, mate. What happened to Odegaard? That was the before and after.
Yeah. I feel like it's just a confidence thing. A lot of people don't realize that in terms of football, it's just most of the time it's just confidence. A lot of players are obviously naturally technically gifted. I mean, they play for the club for a reason. So most of the time, it's just a confidence thing. I mean, the biggest example of confidence right now is Anthony. Like, look at what he's doing. Once he left United and actually built some confidence, and Real Betis, obviously put a lot.
MVP of Serie A, winning a trophy with Napoli. They were not the issue, Anthony and Scott McTominay.
Yeah. Literally, they weren't the issue. Like Scott, I always rated Scott McTominay. I thought he was a very good player. I just think he was just in the wrong position and the wrong system. And I mean, I feel like Napoli's big proof of that. It's big proof of that.
True. And I completely agree with what you said here at the start of the podcast. Confidence is what makes or breaks to a world-class player, most definitely. Every detail matters, and the mental being of a footballer, a high-level athlete, they must be so confident in a way that some people can perceive it as arrogance too. You know what I mean, JR?
Yeah.
To the point that it's like, I'm the best here, okay? So I'm going to score that goal. I'm going to make that tackle. I'm going to be the man to save the day. That's what world-class players have, and that's what Declan Rice did with the 2 free kicks in a row. That was a world-class moment from Declan Rice, and that's why he's completely a starter for the English national team in the next 5 to 10 years. But talking about Arsenal and Declan Rice, Arsenal's recruitment has been fantastic towards players like Gabriel, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard, but Julian Timber now, Calafiori, injuries I think took a toll this season especially, but you need to sign. Arsenal needs, it's a must this summer, a left winger and a striker. And I see many Arsenal fans stating that they want Benjamin Sesko ahead of Victor Gyökeres. In terms of potential, Sesko's younger. That is a fact. But in terms of immediate impact and influence, Trust me, JR, there's no better signing that Arsenal can do than Victor Gyökeres. You gave unluck to that man when you went and you came
listen,
and seen.
Alex. I mean, Alex, I'll just say this right now on the podcast. I completely agree with you. I am 100%. I am an advocate. I feel like a lot of people might have seen on social media stuff. I'm a big advocate for Victor Gyökeres as well. I'm always reposting his stuff for all of his achievements that he doesn't. I'm a big advocate for Victor Gyökeres. I feel like I've told a lot of Arsenal fans as well that he is the man. If you want someone that's going to impact... Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. Šeško is young. He's doing well for what he is right now, but I feel like he's a developing striker. He could turn out to be something great, but we need something now. And that person now is definitely Victor Gyökeres. I mean, I feel like there's a good... transfer deal that we could get out of him as well, and honestly I feel like he's the man. He's very good at ball carrying, he's very physical, strong, and a lot of people said maybe he won't adapt to the Prem because it kind of might be a repeat of Darwin Núñez. I don't think that's true in any way, shape or form.
It isn't.
And he has that experience in English football, being in the Championship and also doing well in the Championship, and you've seen Championship strikers do extremely well going up from the Championship to the Prem. So
he's top 5 strikers in the world right now, Victor Gyökeres. JR, you just spoke facts completely here at the start of FC Wonderkid, and this is why Victor Gyökeres should be a priority for every top team in the world of football that needs a striker. I'm 27 years old. I've never seen a player at Sporting as good as he is. 101 games, 96 goals, 28 assists, 2 times league champion. First time in 71 years that happened in Sporting history. They should want that man to extend 5 to 6 mil a year, whatever they can. If Sporting manages to extend Victor Gyökeres, there's an opportunity that this could be the best time ever in Sporting history for a Sporting fan. Definitely this century, okay? All-time high. Best player in the league, Gyökeres. Best midfielder in the league, Martin Ruben, which is also the captain. And then defenders with potential. De Bast, Diomande, Eduardo Quaresma, that should have been called up for Portugal, and the Wonderkid that Chelsea already signed, Giovanni Kinda. The time to watch Portuguese football is right now. But going back to Arsenal, so the striker, we both agree, Victor Gyökeres would be the best choice, but we would also see Šeško as a good alternative. We agree on that too. Even though Leipzig, no European football. There was a downfall for Leipzig this season in the Bundesliga. Xavi Simons, I think he's also going. I think Xavi Simons is also... We know Xavi Simons doesn't mind leaving a club when he feels the ambitions of the club don't align with his own. Xavi Simons PSV, Xavi Simons PSG, when he saw he wouldn't play. And even at Barcelona, when he first developed, he saw he had a better opportunity to develop at PSG. So he doesn't fear to go to somewhere else. So that's be interesting. Who will sign Xavi Simons? And if he's going to the Premier League... It would be mad if Xavi Simons went to a Man United. To a Man United.
Maybe to a Man United. I mean, I've seen him also be slightly linked to Arsenal as well, which I honestly wouldn't mind Xavi Simons because he can play in the 10 role. He can obviously play on the wing as well. So I feel like it's a good developing player. But
wouldn't that stagnate a bit, Ethan Nwaneri? Because Ethan Nwaneri, I think he's the alternative player to Martin Odegaard. But Xavi Simons also there as a winger option. Could he fill the left winger role, you believe, JR?
I feel like he could. I feel like he's more comfortable on the left than he is on the right. So I'd definitely say, in terms of that rotation between maybe Odegaard and Martinelli, I feel like he's there. I feel like one of Martinelli and Trossard's leaving, so we do have space for that wing spot. And I feel like maybe Xavi Simons could be that person. There's also been talks of maybe Rafael Leão, which I feel like the thing is, I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, mainly because Milan, obviously, that's their star man. And, Milan are going to be asking for some big money for that. And
also, Reinders to Man City.
Reinders to Man City is crazy as well. And I just feel like, maybe Nico Williams, but there's also Rodrigo. Now, Rodrigo is a big game changer there because Rodrigo, obviously, naturally not playing in his position. He's naturally a left winger, playing on the right for Real Madrid. Don't get me wrong, it is Real Madrid, and they are known to be the biggest club in the world. But, hey, there are rumors saying that he's open to looking for a different club if they play him in his natural position, and he would fit very well in that left wing for Arsenal. So I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't say no.
Rodrigo goes to Arsenal, it's going to be a 2.0 impact like Mesut Ozil had with you guys, honestly. Because Rodrigo Goes has this ambition to be perceived as a better player than Vini, as a better player than Estevão that is cooking now and is going to Chelsea next season. Pay attention to William Estevão, that he's balling out for Palmeiras at the age of 18 currently, but going with the left winger of Arsenal, Rodrigo Goes would be an absolutely outstanding choice if Andrea Berta manages to convince Real Madrid to sell him. And something too that I believe is a big statement for Arsenal this summer is keeping William Saliba. For me, Saka, Declan Rice, and Saliba are three of the best players in their respective positions. Can negotiate for sure with any club, okay? They're irreplaceable, okay? They're players like Lamine Yamal is treated at Barca, Saka, Declan Rice, and Saliba have to be treated the same way towards. They are non-negotiable players. So for me, Saliba staying, when all this news came around, about Real Madrid wanting Saliba, Real Madrid seeing him as the Jude Bellingham of center backs, and Arsenal, no. We're going to keep him another season. A statement is being done. If Arsenal extends the contract of Saliba, that will be a huge statement for the coming season that obviously Arsenal must have the ambition to win the Premier League. Arsenal must have the ambition to compete in the Champions League, signing a left winger, signing a striker, and I know Wirtz might be going to Liverpool. I know that Man United will be a lot stronger with Rúben Amorim next season. But Arsenal, no more excuses. It will be the 7th season of Arteta? More than 700 million spent until now. So, this is correct to say, JR. These are the expectations.
Yeah, of course. These are big expectations. I feel like if this could potentially, a lot of people say this is his last chance. And the thing is, with us and with keeping players like Declan Rice, I mean, Saka's homegrown, he's least likely to, to leave out the free. But William Saliba, he's there, with Real Madrid keeping
Trent's homegrown.
True. But I'd say with Saliba being not homegrown, with Real Madrid keeping tabs with William Saliba, if William Saliba is not seeing progression with us not making the right signings and then us being stuck in the same position, finishing second again, then he's going to look at other clubs and be interested in them rather than staying here, because there's not really a progressing project. Because what we need to do in the summer is progress this project, sign the left winger, sign the striker, and hopefully be serious challenges for the league and the Champions League too.
Exactly. Very well stated. Because yes, until now, Arteta has won Community Shields and the FA Cup. That was a long time ago when Aubameyang was the striker of Arsenal at that time. And I still, to this day, have not seen a striker better than Aubameyang at Arsenal. And I think this summer, it will be resolved, this issue. So let us know in the comment section down below if you agree with what we're saying about Arsenal and what are the expectations that you have for Arsenal next season. But now, trophies. I see a lot of people in London now stating that they are European champions. Is it true, JR, that we have European champions in London currently, with Tottenham Hotspur winning the first trophy after 17 years trophyless, and fans just with the full ambition to win a trophy? It must be mad scenes there in London, no, JR?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually on my way back home from London, and there were a load of Spurs fans from the trophy parade, which is interesting to see, at least.
Trophy parade with Tottenham.
But it's crazy. I mean, although I'm a big Arsenal fan, I will give credit where credit's due. Fair play to what Ange Postecoglou's done. He's backed what he said. He did win a trophy for Spurs, although I kind of hate to see it. But I will give credit. I will give credit where credit's due. Fair play, Spurs. I mean, yeah, the whole European Champions things. I mean, technically they are. I mean, hey, no one was complaining when West Ham said they were, and they won the Conference League. So
true, exactly. And
it's just the facts. It's just the facts.
Will always be remembered as the eternal captain that made that happen with David Moyes as the manager. Absolutely mad. And now, let's see, Ange Postecoglou. Do you believe he's going to stay at Tottenham now, JR, after this trophy?
See, the thing is, Tottenham could well and truly still sack him, but I wouldn't see what I mean. I feel like they would give him at least a little bit of a chance at the start of the season. And if things are still looking a bit bleak and stuff, then they'll probably end up sacking him mid season. I feel like they give him that chance to stay a little bit. Try build maybe a little something, but if nothing works out, then they sack him mid-season. I think that is the way Spurs are going to go.
And I look at the defense of Tottenham, like, no Lloris, okay? If we look, Ange Postecoglou had to deal with Lloris leaving Tottenham, one of the biggest legends this century of Tottenham, I'd say. Definitely at goalkeeper. Now, with Vicario, Porro, Mickey van de Ven, Romero, Udogie, those are good alternatives. And van de Ven, Udogie, Pedro Porro are all new. Considerably new, okay, in the history of Tottenham.
Yeah.
And now they made history, and on the bench he's got Denzo. There was a lot of injuries that happened to him, quite unlucky for Tottenham, like with Luzevski, with Heung-min Son, a lot of the season injured too, and obviously James Maddison, that was on and off this season, and when he's in form, he's the best player of Tottenham. But Heung-min Son by getting a trophy. Oh my god! You went to South Korea.
I was happy for him. I was happy for him at least.
Like, is he like the Maradona of South Korea type?
Oh, 100%. There's like when it came to advertising, he was everywhere. It was crazy.
Son.
But going back to this Tottenham players, the thing is, a lot of on paper there are some very good Tottenham players, but these were players that were built and bought on Conte's system. When Conte was manager, Udogie, Porro, they're wingbacks. They're naturally wingbacks. And when Ange Postecoglou plays that back four, they're not as solid defensively and don't really play in the back four system. So then it kind of left them a little bit exposed. That's why you didn't see Udogie and Porro shine as much this season, I'd say. But they still kind of had
along on the left and on the right.
Yeah, of course. He had to alternate, and especially with the injuries going on, I feel like Jed Spence ended up getting that chance, and I feel like he's done well for what he's needed to do. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the players that Ange had to deal with are from that kind of Conte system, and they're kind of used to that Conte system, and then they kind of have to adapt to Ange's football, which is obviously a very, very big contrast, which, yeah, I feel like it can maybe affect the players a little bit. But, I mean, Ange's done, I mean, he's had a high, he's ended on a high to a very poor season, if we're being honest.
True. In general, completely, and it did state at the beginning of the season, in my second seasons, I usually win something. And he really did. He really did with a team that hadn't won a trophy in 17 years. And it's so funny that, like, Napoli wins with Antonio Conte, okay? That last season they were 10th, and this season they're first. Harry Kane wins his first trophy with Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. Heung-min Son finally wins the trophy with Tottenham after 10 years of loyal service to the club. Football is changing completely. Even Crystal Palace winning a trophy for the first time in 124 years. That's mad. Sporting, back-to-back champions for the first time in 71 years. And even Bologna winning a trophy after 50 years. And Newcastle after 70 years too. Like, this was such an historical year for football in many sense. And even now we see the repeat of a star being born in La Masia, Barcelona. And yes, it's that. We'll talk about that real soon. But staying too with Tottenham that you just mentioned, who are now with Champions League football, do you see a player that you think is perfect to join Tottenham, or we still have to wait and see how they're feeling and to attack the market?
You kind of have to wait and see. I don't really do research in terms of Spurs play and in terms of how they play and players that would fit the system. I feel like maybe another attacking option, and maybe I feel like a midfield option would be good for them as well. A midfielder that creates balance for that team. I feel like maybe that would be an option for them, but I'd need to look into that more to actually give it an answer.
Like a Morgan Gibbs-White. I think Morgan Gibbs-White after this season is one of the most attractive midfielders to sign from the Premier League, no doubt. Okay, so I could see a City, Tottenham signing a player like him, especially Tottenham, because they like to go for Solanke, Brennan Johnson. They buy internally the best players of teams that are rivaling them for some positions for European football in given seasons, okay? Like Mbeumo now, and we all know Mbeumo's a baller, so we could fully see Arsenal, Man United, or even Tottenham sign Brian Mbeumo. It would make complete sense, since he's a guarantee for the team. Like we see Matheus Cunha being associated to United. So now, we gotta talk about Man United because yes, hi, the disrespect that I'm seeing now. I completely understand. It's the first time in Man United history that in a full season they don't have back-to-back wins in the Premier League. I do understand that no one should be safe in this Man United locker room because the salary hierarchy is completely wrong. And I do understand that maybe Bruno Fernandes will have to be sold in order for Man United to buy other players that fit the Rúben Amorim system. But I beg, and I really want, no, I don't want to beg, I really want people to trust me in the sense that trust me what I said about... people trusted me when I said about Unmensch. People trust me when I said about Vitinha. And now with Rúben Amorim, I'm more confident than ever that he is the right man to bring Man United titles for next season and for the near future. The greatness of Man United, the badge of Man United, is not matched with any of the players that are currently at the club. This is the worst team on paper of Man United, definitely in recent history, and this is why this happened. Such a bad season, okay? It was not Rúben Amorim. It's the recruitment, and this is the consequence of just that. Anthony, 95 million. Sancho, 85 million. Højlund, 78 million. Onana, 50 million. Casemiro, 71 million. Mason Mount, 64 million. 443 million that was spent on these players, and this is why people are losing their jobs in the club, because of the poor recruitment. This is why Man United has to change, and I can guarantee you, Rúben Amorim will not accept this mediocrity, and he will make Man United great again. So, JR, how are you feeling with Ruben? Because I understand if you're in the camp that maybe he has to go at Man United, but yes, I just really believe he's the right guy still.
I mean, I'd have to say that like in ways I'd agree with you. I'd agree with you in terms of his tactics and what he can do and what he can do to transform a team and how he does on the pitch. I feel like he could be the man for them, and that's true. But this Man United job is bigger than just the manager. It's everything. It is literally everything. I've said it for years now with Manchester United. Their problem is so much bigger than just the players and the manager on the pitch. It's so much bigger. There's problems internally, financially, training, facility-wise, everything with that club. There's some issues in, and it is affecting the club as a whole. It's crazy to see. I don't think Rúben Amorim is a problem. I don't think he should be sacked. And the thing is, it will cost the club a lot of money to sack him now, especially. So I wouldn't do that. It's also the quality of the players. Players haven't been performing that well. And they've been, and now because of that loss in the Europa League, it doesn't get them that Champions League qualification and the money that you get with that. It doesn't get them, they're going to finish 16th or potentially even 17th. Maybe if they lose and Spurs win their game, they finish 17th, which is 1 point of relegation.
True.
They're not going to have that much money to work with, which might have to make them sell a player like Bruno or Garnacho or Mainu even, which I'm even hearing about.
Oh, even Maguire. Come on.
Even Maguire too.
Garnacho, yes, 60 million. That's the price tag that a lot of people are speculating. Napoli to go get him because they were interested in January, correct, JR?
Yeah.
But yes,
sure.
The biggest virus, in my opinion, of Manchester United is the salary structure. In everything, okay? In the signings, if you're signing a player that they know that the salary of their star player, and he wants to be the star player, he has to equal that salary. It's inevitable. So the salary structure must be fixed at Manchester United for the culture to be fixed. It's the owner's fault to make this mess, not Rúben Amorim. He's now with a salary structure of Rashford, of Mason Mount, of people that are being rewarded without showing the results. This is mad to me. The acceptance of these salaries when the Man United badge, the Man United culture is not to the level that we were used to when we were growing up. So that's, again, I'm going to repeat, the dynamics, the friendships in the group, the unity of the group. Rúben Amorim will fix all this, but he must be trusted this summer in transfers. He must. And I'm saying Man United needs to have this summer in transfers and let's spend minus 100 million. I know it's going to be a tough hit, but that needs to happen, even though they're going to sell Casemiro, Garnacho, Højlund maybe, Xerxes maybe, Lindelof, Eriksen are going to leave on a free because their contracts leave. Ruben has to be trusted. Matheus Cunha, Delap. These are the types of players that must come. And Victor Gyökeres, I would love for him to stay in Portugal, but I can guarantee you he would have more than 20 Premier League goals for Arsenal or for Man United. He should be a priority if they can sign him. But once again, maybe, like we know, not maybe, we know that next season, Rúben Amorim and Manchester United will not do worse than this. We have seen Manchester United's all-time low with this. And maybe because of this result, Bruno Fernandes will have to leave. And he will be the sacrificial player that Man United signed him for 60 million and might be selling him to the Saudi League for 100 million. So he actually gives a profit even towards the transfer. And I can guarantee you, without him, I think they could have been in the relegation zone and in very poor situations, okay, in the past 5 years. The best signing I've seen definitely in the last 5 years. So it's sad, and I don't know. I don't want to be pessimistic, but the two references of the club now, Rúben Amorim and Omar Berrada, have to fix this mess that the owners have created with the Glazers. Are the Glazers talked a lot now in England, JR? Because this mess
obviously,
is, I think, causing them.
Well, yeah, it's somewhat because of them, and it's also because of Jim Ratcliffe. Jim Ratcliffe hasn't necessarily helped with that as well. And like you said, I think it's a big salary. It's this big salary thing as well. There's so many players on stupid amounts of money for, like, they kind of got given star player amount of money without necessarily proving that. I mean, yeah, their CV was good, don't get me wrong, but they didn't actually earn that right by playing through it. They kind of just got given it straight away. Anthony on stupid amount of money. Casemiro. There was even a thing about Casemiro about if he won the Europa League, he would have got, like, his salary would have gone up to 450k a week, which is just insane. And obviously there's big players like Rashford, and there's just so many players on big salaries which aren't really needed. I mean, Anthony, he would probably love to stay at Real Betis. That's one player. Casemiro looks like he's potentially going as well. And there's other players that, you know, could be looking to go, and, you know, you can cut that salary and fix the internal problems that you currently have now.
Anyone earning more than 300k a week and playing for Man United is a dream for any footballer, or should be at least. And Rúben Amorim, I can guarantee you, for what I saw in Portugal, it's a privilege to be coached by such a good manager that has the potential to dominate the Premier League and the Champions League in the next 5 years. And Man United want that and need that with a new stadium being built that will cost 2 billion. 2 billion. So you got to fill it up with fans, and results are crucial for that to happen. So yes, and I wanted to state this: it's poor recruitment at Man United, signing Anthony, Sancho, Højlund, Casemiro, all these players, and letting go of Scott McTominay, De Gea, Dean Henderson, that are both better than Onana, that cost 50 million. Elanga, that is a huge mistake, letting go of him too. And Álvaro Carreras, that is the best left back in the Portuguese league this season. All players that would start for Manchester United. So even though
that's very true.
The talent that they have, and even knowing the talent that they have, like, they can't even evaluate it the right way.
And there's one thing I would say as well, even with their financial vision, it kind of reminds me of Barcelona. And Barcelona had to sacrifice a lot. And a lot of Barcelona players had to sacrifice their own salaries and stuff. Will you see the same thing with Manchester United? I don't know. Probably not. So they probably have to go through that same. They probably might have to go through that same thing in order to actually fix the issue. Because look at Barcelona now. Barcelona are now, you know, developing, and they're now at the top, back to their glory days. They won a domestic treble, nearly got to the Champions League final, very, very close with that insane game against Inter. But the amount of sacrifice that a lot of those players did and believed in the project that, you know, that the manager and also the new board and the new club, the new chairman wanted to put forward, they sacrificed a lot. They sacrificed a lot just for them to now be up. But will those Man United players want to do the exact same thing to potentially have that same success? Probably not.
I don't think so. That is very well stated. very well stated there. And the people that are being sacrificed, I repeat, are the people losing their jobs at Manchester United because of their poor results and their poor recruitment. At a human level, Rúben Amorim, as a Portugueseman, I know he feels this. I know this is the motivation for him not to even be top 4 in the Premier League this season. To win the Premier League next season. Sir Alex Ferguson made the badge have this importance. If Man United are in the Prem, they're contenders to win the Prem. That is mandatory for what the club represents and for the importance that it has in the world of football. Barca, Real Madrid, and Man United are the 3 top teams towards image in the world. They're the most recognizable brands in football. So I believe it will be fixed, but we'll talk more in future podcasts about Man United and about this mess, okay? And I'm sure we will talk about players leaving and players being signed, players that we mentioned there, that yes, Amad Diallo, Yoro, and I'd say Dorgu are the only 3 players that I certainly can say with confidence will not leave this summer. I'm a Portugueseman. I know Bruno Fernandes has been phenomenal, but he could be sacrificed. Let me know down below if you agree with me in this podcast and with JR here with the comments here about Man United. And now Champions League. But we mentioned a bit of Barcelona. I want to know, JR, is Lamine Yamal the winner of the Ballon d'Or if Inter de Milan wins the Champions League?
The thing is, I don't see, even if Inter were to win the Champions League, I still don't see a player like Lautaro Martinez winning the Champions League. No, sorry, winning the Ballon d'Or.
Exactly.
I don't see it personally.
But if PSG wins the Champions League, we could see Dembele win the Ballon d'Or.
We could see that.
So if Inter wins the Champions League, does Lamine win the Ballon d'Or?
Potentially. I feel like Lamine and Rafinha could be up there. I feel like it is most likely between those 3 of Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, and Ousmane Dembele. I feel like it is between those 3, and that Champions League final.
I'd put Pedri maybe in the mix too, maybe.
Yeah, Pedri's definitely probably most likely top 5. I'd agree with that as well. But I feel like it's between those 3 in the mix, and obviously the Champions League final will be a big factor to who wins and which way it swings. So
Completely. And if people that say Dembele doesn't deserve to win the Ballon d'Or, my friends, the talent level of Dembele is as talented as Kylian Mbappe. I won't say as talented as Lamine Yamal because he's the most talented Wonderkid I've ever seen at his age, okay? I'll say that. But PSG this season have won everything domestically. And if they win the Champions League and they win the FIFA Club World Cup, that is a bold prediction. But if that happens too in the first time in this new version, Dembele Ballon d'Or makes complete sense, and he's even playing now as a striker with Kvicha Kvaratskhelia, Desiree Doué, awarding this PSG team that is making history, winning their first Champions League in their history after it being in their second final. And it's such a different culture when you see Man United cutting people's salaries, and you see now PSG's owner literally buying 600 tickets for the people that work at the club to go and watch them possibly win their first Champions League, covering all costs from hotel to the plane ticket to having fun in Munich. It's the final is in Munich. So it's so wonderful to see this all-time high of PSG. And yes, that's I was just sad not to see Barcelona in the final of the Champions League, because it's been 10 years, mate, without Barcelona winning a Champions League. And this season, I think they deserve it more than any time in recent future. So, yes, Champions League, how are we feeling so? Inter de Milan winning it? So, you mentioned Lautaro. Is Lautaro going to be the man to make it happen?
I don't know. I feel like I do. The thing is, Inter as a team, the balance of the team, you could say Lautaro Martinez is their superstar, but I don't feel like they have that superstar factor. Maybe that's because I don't watch that much Serie A or something like that.
The star is the team. The star is the team. It's Barella, Bastoni, Lautaro. How long have they been at Inter de Milan? You're right completely, JR. It's not a Lautaro being the star player. It's the group making the best out of each other. Look at Acerbi scoring that key goal against Barcelona at the age of 37 and beating Cancer twice. That's the type of mentality that is in that locker room. So I agree with you. I completely agree with you. Inter de Milan's star is the team, the dynamics, the friendship, and Simone Inzaghi being the coach that is extremely good in cup finals. Yeah. But with PSG, and wanted to mention, and I know we didn't talk before to mention this, but we're both Portuguese. We know what's up here in Portugal. PSG and PSG, Vitinha, João Neves, Roberto Martinez. No doubts, okay, no jokes, no this, that, and the other thing. Against Germany on the 4th of June, you must start Vitinha and João Neves. And if there's a player coming on for this Portuguese national team off the bench to make history in his debut for the national team, is the player with the most talent I've ever seen in Portuguese academies in Portugal, JR. It's Rodrigo Mora. Ready to make history, this man. The best player of Porto at the age of 18. I've watched more than 100 games of Rodrigo Mora throughout his career. He's here to make history and to make an assist and to make the difference. And he'll be there in the World Cup. And I not just be there with many minutes, and very important for this Portuguese national team. Rodrigo Mora is inevitable, and I'm so confident of the ability that he has. And I stated, the best player I've seen in academy football here in Portugal. And Kenda also of Sporting. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. But PSG, Roberto Martinez, Portugal, Vitinha, and João Neves, these two make the best midfield in the world. In terms of form, maybe, right now. And the best midfielder, Pedri. Do you agree?
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like, their partnership, both being Portuguese and, playing with each other consistently, Vitinha and João Neves, they are very, very good together, and they just work off each other. You see how they play football. It's great. It's great to see as a fellow countryman and as a Portuguese person. It's amazing to see we have that kind of talent among us, in our hands. It's amazing. And for them to win the Champions League would be great, and for them to continue to thrive, not only compete, win the Nations League, if we win the Nations League too, and then to have them develop even more, because they're young players as well and young talents, for them to develop more, for us to build a strong midfield for the World Cup. Hey man, I'd be happy. I'd be more than happy.
Portugal, with the team that we have and the talents that we're developing, we're contenders for the next World Cup in 2026, and no doubt, in my mind and in yours, JR, I know that I'm feeling it. Rodrigo Mora, João Neves, Vitinha, Rafael Leão, Nuno Mendes, Gonçalo Inácio, so much talent in our team. Giovanni Kenda, Tomás Araújo. We'll also be contenders to win the 2030 in home soil, which we'll be sharing the World Cup with Morocco and Spain too. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be great.
But yes, mentioning here now here at the end of the FC Wonderkid podcast, I know I mentioned briefly about Wirtz. I just wanted to state this. If Liverpool sign Florian Wirtz, that will be the most impactful signing of this summer transfer window. No doubt in my mind. And it will be Gakpo, Salah, Wirtz behind him, Szoboszlai playing at the 8, McAllister, Gravenberch, Kerkez, Van Dijk, Konate, right back Jeremy Frimpong too, that has been signed. Insane. Or an Alisson or Georgi Mamarashvili, the goalkeeper of Georgia, which is such a beast, okay, with Kelleher leaving too. Liverpool are ready to attack the Champions League and the Premier League, obviously, once again. And just imagine this, JR, stating this here in episode 30. Imagine if Liverpool next season win the Champions League and also Germany wins the 2026 World Cup. Ballon d'Or goes to who? Goes to Florian Wirtz. If he's at Liverpool. And next to Mo Salah. Like, Mo Salah
I thought he should have been top 5 for... I was very surprised at his Ballon d'Or position for even last season when Leverkusen almost won the treble and got... I thought he was very underrated in that.
It was the Europa League results. Because Ruben just went crazy.
Yeah.
At first hat-trick in the final of the Europa League. But I agree with you. First time that first time that a team in the Bundesliga goes unbeaten to win the league. Like, I completely agree with you. Florian Wirtz was the man to make that happen. Best player in the Bundesliga. With Harry Kane too at Bayern Munich, that was trophyless that season that so many people wouldn't expect that to happen. So, JR, any last prediction here in the here at FC Wonderkid podcast? A bold statement here to end the pod. Can't be
Okay.
related to Arsenal
Okay.
or Portugal.
Okay. I'll say this right here, right now. If we sign Gyökeres, we win the league.
Arsenal winning the league. Look, I see the number 9 there in the wall. You're making it happen, okay? And I guarantee you, if Victor Gyökeres goes to Arsenal, I will for sure be thinking that possibility could happen. Mega too. Mate. Oh, and for Mikel Arteta, mate. Oh, that would be such a good move. But yes, I loved it. Backing with what we said right at the start of the FC Wonderkid podcast 30. People, thank you for listening until now to the FC Wonderkid podcast. Please go follow JR on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, every socials that will be in the description. Thank you so much for being our guest here in episode 30. It was such a blast, mate, to know your opinions about what's happening in football to this day. And yes, please keep going bold, JR, because you're an inspiration to all of us here that love football content creation. And hopefully you'll see Arsenal winning a trophy next season. Like you just said, the Premier League with Victor Gyökeres. Once again, thank you, JR, for being here. And thank you for going bold. Peace.
Of course. I love it.